Hello everyone and welcome to Train Talk. In this episode we are going to discuss Amtrak corridor trains, often referred to as intercity trains. As you probably already know, Amtrak is the National Railroad Passenger Corporation and they operate various passenger trains all across the continental United States. We'll start off by talking about what a corridor train is, and then we'll take a brief look at the various Amtrak corridor trains throughout the US. Let's dive right in. Amtrak passenger train service can, for the most part, be broken down into two categories: corridor or intercity trains and long-distance trains. Corridor trains are generally defined as passenger rail services that run multiple times a day in each direction and travel distances of 750 miles or less. In contrast, long-distance trains operate at most once per day in each direction and travel distances of over 750 miles. In previous episodes of Train Talk, I have defined the cutoff between corridor and long-distance trains as 500 miles. However, I recently discovered in Amtrak's new 5-year service line plan that they define this cutoff as 750 miles rather than 500. Now, those of you Amtrak experts out there may have noticed that there are some other Amtrak services that travel less than 750 miles but only run once a day. By Amtrak's definition, these still fall under the intercity service category, but I think they are best placed into a separate group, which I am calling low-frequency intercity trains, as these trains do not really run often enough to fit into the corridor trains category. So, we will save low-frequency intercity trains for yet another video. Let's now take a look at each of the major Amtrak corridor services. Amtrak corridor trains run in several different places in the United States, and service varies from corridor to corridor. In general, corridor trains consist mostly of coach cars and a cafe car. Some corridors also offer business class seating and checked baggage. Equipment varies from route to route, but in general, trains in the Midwest and East use Amtrak, Amfleet, and Horizon single-level cars, while services in the West use bi-level cars. We will start in the Northeast and work our way west. The Northeast Corridor is the busiest passenger rail corridor in North America. The two major services that travel along this corridor are the Amtrak Acela Express and the Northeast Regional. Combined, these two trains carry over 12 million passengers a year as of 2017. The Acela is a limited-stop express train that travels at the maximum authorized speeds in the corridor, while the Regional is a slightly slower service that makes additional stops. The core route travels between Washington, D.C. and Boston, Massachusetts, making stops at many cities in between, including Baltimore, Maryland, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Trenton, New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, New York City, New Haven, Connecticut, and Providence, Rhode Island. From Boston to Washington, the distance is 457 miles. In addition to the main corridor, some Northeast Regional trains extend south of Washington, D.C. to various locations in Virginia. There is also a shuttle train service that travels between New Haven, Connecticut and Springfield, Massachusetts. As an express service, the Acela only offers business class and first class seating, while regionals offer business class and coach seating. Train sets used for the Acela Express are semi-permanently connected cars along with a power car on each end of the train. The trains are 6 cars in length and usually include a cafe, 1 first-class car, and 4 business-class cars. Regional trains use Amtrak's Amfleet 1 passenger cars and vary in length. Locomotives used are ACS 64 City Sprinter locomotives built by Siemens. Trip times vary by service, but the approximate trip length from Washington, D.C. to Boston is 7 hours 10 minutes on the Acela and 8 hours 20 minutes on the Regional. The next Amtrak corridor train that we will take a look at is branded as Amtrak's Empire Services. These trains travel from New York City northward along the Hudson River to Albany, New York, and in some cases beyond to locations in upstate New York as far as Niagara Falls. Some trains that run on this corridor extend even farther and would fall under my low-frequency intercity trains category. Service is funded in part by the state of New York. Equipment used for the service is usually a set of Amfleet cars pulled by a P32 ACDM dual-mode locomotive. Some of the trains that run beyond Albany switch to a P42DC diesel-electric locomotive for the remainder of the trip. Trains typically have business class and coach seating as well as a cafe car. The distance between New York City and Albany is 141 miles with an additional 319 miles to Niagara Falls. Over 1.5 million riders a year travel on Empire Service trains as of 2017. There are an average of 12 trips a day in each direction. Top speed for the route is 110 miles per hour with an average trip time of 2 hours 30 minutes from New York to Albany. Keystone service connects the Northeast with central Pennsylvania. Trains run along the Northeast corridor from New York to Philadelphia and then on a separate route from Philadelphia to Lancaster and Harrisburg. The Pennsylvanian, which also runs on the corridor, extends past Harrisburg all the way to Pittsburgh. Service on the corridor is partially funded by the state of Pennsylvania. Top speed for trains is 125 miles per hour on the Northeast corridor and 110 between Philadelphia and Harrisburg. Trains typically consist of 5 coach cars, the last of which is a cab car converted from a self-propelled electric Metroliner car. They are pulled by ACS 64 electric locomotives. Multiple trips are made daily with as many as 14 each way on weekdays. The entire route length from New York to Harrisburg is 195 miles. Over 1.5 million riders annually travel aboard the Keystone as of 2017. Trip time from New York to Harrisburg averages to about 3 hours and 30 minutes. The Downeaster runs in upper New England from Boston, Massachusetts to Brunswick, Maine, passing through the southeastern portion of New Hampshire and Portland, Maine. From Boston to Brunswick, the route is 145 miles in length. As of 2017, ridership was just over 500,000 a year. The service is in part subsidized by the state of Maine. Trains are usually 5 cars in length and consist of coach, business class, and cafe cars. The typical locomotive used is an Amtrak P42 DC diesel-electric. A non-powered control unit is placed at the other end of the train as a cab and baggage car for quick turnarounds. Top speed is 79 miles per hour on the route, and there are 5 trips in each direction a day. Trip time from end to end is approximately 3 hours 20 minutes. The Piedmont runs between Charlotte and Raleigh, North Carolina, a distance of 173 miles. The trains are largely funded by the state of North Carolina, and all train equipment is owned by the state. There are 2 trips in each direction each day, and this number is expected to increase to as many as 5 in the near future. Trains are pulled by F59PH and F59PHI locomotives and are usually 3 to 4 cars in length, featuring single-level coach cars and a lounge car with vending machines. Amtrak also runs a low-frequency intercity train along the Piedmont route called the Carolinian. This train continues past Raleigh, extending all the way to New York City, and is run with all Amtrak equipment. In 2015, ridership for the Piedmont was over 150,000. Average trip time from Charlotte to Raleigh is 3 hours and 20 minutes. Top speed on the corridor is 79 miles per hour. The next corridor we'll take a look at is Amtrak Midwest. These services can be broken down further into a few separate corridors that make up the larger Midwest system. Trains mostly operate out of Chicago, Illinois, connecting to other large cities nearby. Equipment used on these trains was, until recently, Amtrak P42 DC locomotives with Horizon and Amfleet coach and cafe cars, along with a non-powered control unit on some routes. However, all of this equipment is being replaced with Siemens SC44 Charger locomotives and single-level passenger cars purchased by the state of Illinois. The trains that make up the Midwest system include the Hiawatha, running between Chicago and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Wolverine, Pere Marquette, and Blue Water, which run between Chicago and various points in the state of Michigan, Lincoln Service, running between Chicago and St. Louis, Missouri, the Illinois Zephyr and the Carl Sandburg, which run between Chicago and Quincy, Illinois, the Illini and Saluki, running between Chicago and Carbondale, Illinois, the Missouri River Runner traveling between St. Louis and Kansas City, Missouri, and finally the Hoosier State, which travels between Chicago and Indianapolis, Indiana. Train frequencies vary from route to route. On the most popular route, the Hiawatha, trains run as many as 8 times a day in each direction. Other services are much less frequent, in some cases only running once or twice a day in each direction. Funding comes from a variety of sources, including the state of Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Missouri. Trip times and top speeds also vary greatly by route. Some have a top speed as high as 110 miles per hour, while one is as low as 60. In total, the Midwest services attract over 2.8 million riders a year, with the Hiawatha alone reaching over 800,000. Amtrak Cascades is a service that runs in the Pacific Northwest between Eugene, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and Vancouver, Canada. The service is financially supported by the states of Oregon and Washington. These two states also own most of the equipment used for the service. The trains use very unique passenger car sets called Talgos and are currently the only trains in North America to operate with this equipment. These cars are semi-permanently connected and wheel sets are placed in between cars. This design allows Talgos to travel at a faster speed than traditional equipment. Train sets are usually 12 to 14 cars in length and include a baggage section, a cafe, business class, and coach class seating. Trains are pulled by Siemens SC44 Charger locomotives. Some Talgo sets that do not have a built-in cab car use a non-powered control unit on the opposite end of the train. Trip time from Eugene to Portland is 2.5 hours. From Portland to Seattle, it is 3.5 hours, and from Seattle to Vancouver, Canada, it is 4 hours. The total route length from Eugene to Vancouver is 467 miles. Ridership for the service was over 800,000 in 2017. Our last set of corridor trains that we will take a look at today are located completely within the state of California and are branded as Amtrak California services. Like Amtrak Midwest, these services can be broken down into 3 main corridors that make up a larger system: Capital Corridor, San Joaquin, and Pacific Surfliner. These are some of the busiest routes in the Amtrak system and all see well over 1 million riders a year, with the Pacific Surfliner attracting almost 3 million riders annually. These trains are completely funded by the state of California, and most trains operate with bi-level California cars. Pacific Surfliner trains run in Southern California, traveling between San Diego, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo. Capital Corridor trains connect Auburn and Sacramento with the San Francisco Bay Area, and the San Joaquin travels between Bakersfield and Oakland, as well as Bakersfield and Sacramento. The equipment used for the San Joaquin and Capital Corridor is completely owned by the state of California, while equipment used for the Pacific Surfliner is only partially owned by the state, with the rest owned by Amtrak. As of spring 2018, the primary locomotive used for all of these trains is the EMD F59 PHI. However, all of the Surfliner F59s will soon be replaced with Siemens Charger locomotives purchased by the state of California. There are already 6 Charger locomotives in service on San Joaquin and Capital Corridor trains. Trip times on the Pacific Surfliner are 2 hours 50 minutes from San Diego to Los Angeles, and about another 5.5 hours between Los Angeles and San Luis Obispo. The total route length is 350 miles. Capital Corridor takes just under 2 hours to travel from Sacramento to Oakland, and another hour and 25 minutes to reach San Jose, a total distance of 133 miles. San Joaquin trains travel 315 miles between Bakersfield and Oakland, taking 6 hours and 15 minutes. From Bakersfield to Sacramento, the trip is 282 miles and takes 5 hours and 20 minutes. We have come to the end of our discussion on Amtrak corridor trains. I hope you had fun. To find out more about any of these Amtrak trains, please visit the Amtrak website, amtrak.com, or call 1-800-872-7245. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment below. If you want to receive regular updates of when I release new videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click on the Receive Notifications bell. You can also follow CoasterFan2105 on Facebook and Twitter. That's it for now. Until next time, I'm Mike Armstrong. I'll see you down the line. Thanks for watching.